Welcome back into Weather Command or into Fox Weather Live weekend. I never know what show I'm on, right? Let's home back into the tropics, but this time let's focus more so on the Eastern Pacific. This is where we have a little more energy and where we're expecting to have a more active season, courtesy of the El Nino and likely super El Nino conditions that will develop by the peak of hurricane season. While Atlantic hurricane season starts tomorrow, the EPAC season started on May 15th. So to see this level of activity is not totally out of the norm. And we already have two areas to watch, one of which is moving closer to Hawaii, but we'll find only a narrow window of conditions supportive of tropical development before encountering extra wind shear and cooler waters. Really, the better area to watch that we're keeping an eye out on for impacts, especially along the west coast of Mexico, is closer to Mexico right now. So the chances for development, especially with our area to watch deeper into the Pacific, a little bit higher, 80% within the next 7 days. The next 2 days, it will stay disorganized thunderstorms. But within that 5-6 day window, that's when things really start to look interesting. It will move over cooler waters, and so that's going to be making it harder to maintain that tropical development and turning it into a hurricane or a strong hurricane. And that's good news for Hawaiians or folks who are traveling to Hawaii, because the expected movement is further out towards the west. But Hawaii usually has this body of cooler water that surrounds it, and that acts as a nice barrier for tropical systems throughout the entirety of the Eastern Pacific hurricane season. But again, water temperatures are warm enough to support tropical development, with temperatures, especially off of the west coast of Mexico, running 2 to 3 degrees above average, which may not sound like a lot, but when you're looking at an entire body of water, that is a big margin. And really the entirety of the EPAC is running, for the most part, above average, and that's usually what happens in an El Nino. You have the trade winds that weaken, and it brings the warm waters over to the equatorial Pacific, and that helps to enhance thunderstorms. Eventually, though, by this upcoming Saturday, so a week from yesterday, that's when it starts to move into this zone where water temperatures are just a touch too cold to support that continued development. But the disturbance is also going to be running into hostile winds as well, so everything is not really working for that area's development further. Now, what we are really going to be monitoring within the next 7 days is a 20% chance that something starts to develop off the west coast of Mexico. And because it's closer to a lot of these popular vacation towns, a lot of people that live along this corridor, that's why it has our attention a little bit more. In addition, a couple of models are also hinting at something attempting in the Bay of Campeche through the first but really second week of June. Way too far out at this point to say that anything is a guarantee, but this is a growing signal that things are going to be active in the tropical realm for at least the beginning of the Atlantic hurricane season, whether that's in the EPAC or in the Atlantic basin. Here's this tropical threat. It's an exclusive Fox Weather product. Basically, it's saying that we have a moderate chance to see this turn into at least a tropical depression or a tropical storm within that zone. So again, it's another 5 days of a favorable environment before things become unfavorable. Some of the names to familiarize yourself with: the EPAC uses different names than the Atlantic. The first name on the list is Amanda, followed by Boris, Christina, and then Douglas. I do think there is a chance that Amanda gets crossed off the list within the next week, but the first hurricane, not really likely. Typically for the Eastern Pacific season, June 10th is where that A-name storm gets crossed off the list. For the Atlantic basin, historically speaking, that A-name storm gets crossed off in late June. So we're usually a little bit displaced. But contrary to the Atlantic basin, where we have this steep climb to the peak of hurricane season on September 10th, the EPAC, it's a slow climb and then a big plateau for about 4 or 5 months through the early part of summer and into early fall. So the EPAC, again, expected to be active, and that not only affects west coast of Mexico, but Hawaii, and also some of that tropical moisture that could influence monsoon season for the Southwest. All things we'll be monitoring throughout the next few months.